Hey guys, welcome to Unit 8, Lesson 6, Volcanoes. We are going to learn about the types and characteristics used to classify volcanoes. How do we know, or did you know, there are different types of volcanoes? Stratovolcano, also known as a composite volcano, a shield volcano, and a cinder cone volcano. And of course, there are different activity types as well: active, dormant, and extinct. So, an active volcano is actively going through the various stages of eruptions and lava flows and cinders and ash and etc. Dormant means it can become active, but it's currently not in that active phase. And extinct means that it can no longer be active. So these are the three types right here. The composite, which is also known as the stratovolcano, is going to be the one you're going to be most familiar with. And it's going to have this similar to this shape, but we're going to talk about it in more details in a minute. But then the cinder cone and then the shield are two other types. So, stratovolcano, like I just said, is that most volcanoes are this type. It has a high viscous, which means slow moving lava. So, remember that because lava types is also one of the ways that we classify volcanoes. So, dangerous and violent eruptions, a tall volcano with steep slopes at the top and gentle slopes near the bottom. And this picture very accurately depicts that. It's also known as a composite volcano. So these are some of the things that are used to monitor and collect information and data. Sensors, tiltmeters, um, cameras, thermal imagers, and satellites are all used to monitor volcanic activity. The shield volcano is the next type we talked about. It's a wide dome shape. The lava is less viscous, and viscous means it's almost a type of stickiness or thickness to the lava. So it flows a little more freely than the previous one, which was the strato. So the stratovolcano, very high viscous to characteristic for the lava. So then the next one, shield volcano, is less. This has a broad base instead of being tall like the previous, the stratovolcano, also known as the composite. See how very much taller it is. The dome is much lower. It's a broad base, and the lava flows long distances. So the picture that was on the previous slide before showed that the shield volcano and having the lava flowing a long distance. So the cinder cone volcano, aka scoria cone, also like aka means also known as, has a single symmetrical cone top at the top, smaller and can form in a few months or years. So that is highly different, very different than the previous two. So here are some further pictures and or types as well. We talked about the composite, which is also known as the stratovolcano. That's the first one. It's the very tall, steep sides, gentle slopes at the base. Then we talked about the shield volcano, which was a little lower. And then there's the dome volcano, which is a domed effect. Then you also have the ash cinder and the caldera, which is actually part of, it's very similar to the dome. And that is actually what is the volcano. Did you know there is one in Yellowstone? So the steepness, the type of lava, and the height are all going to be features that are used to classify. So we talked about the type of lava, and we talked about the steepness and the height, and those things are all put into place when identifying what type of volcano. Then you have the features. You have the ash cloud, which we were all familiar with, the pyroclastic flow, which is the actual flow which has coming out of the volcano. Then you also have the main vent. This is where the main part of the lava actually is emitted. Then you have the secondary vent, which is just what the name says. It's the secondary way that the lava is emitted. And there's a secondary cone here for an example. Then you have the lava flow itself. So the pyroclastic flow is going to be where those gases are released. Then you also have the volcanic bombs, which are chunks of rock. Remember, this is a violent explosion. Um, and so that's what casts off these things at the same time as the ash cloud, the pyroclastic, and then the lava flows. And then finally, the magma chamber, which is where all the lava as magma, because it's magma until it leaves the surface of the earth and then it becomes lava. Okay, so now I know the difference about between the types of volcanoes, but we want you to be able to say that. So you need to go back and watch this again and take notes. If you weren't taking notes, you can go through the slides as well. Make sure you take notes and make sure you use those on your quick check. Here is also a rundown of all of the notes we just shared. So if you just jot these things down or use the PDF for the guided notes as well and jot all this down, then you'll be good to go for the quick check. Thanks so much.